Okay, so just kind of a quick review. CSS displays, CSS display properties, I should say. Two types specify how an element will be positioned. So you've got inline, as we spoke about. Each element will be displayed next to each other. So, and then you've got this block idea. And the idea about that is that each block will start on a new line, and it takes up all the space horizontally on the page. So new content should just drop beneath. So it's good to do, if you're trying to do something like a section of text maybe on one type of coffee, for example, and then underneath that you might want an image, and then you might want another section of text. These types of elements that you can use in the CSS to restyle, they will appear underneath each other. One goes and then another one drops underneath. It's much harder to get those to be on the same line. There's other things that you do to mess about with your, let's get that in place. You'll mess about with your padding or your border or even your margins in order to get block elements to appear on the same line together. That's generally what we'd have to do. Okay, so just to illustrate that, the inline elements that you style will place themselves next to each other, and they'll just keep going until they reach the end of whatever container that you've set. So, you know, when you've set the margins, etc., to a certain length, that's when they'll drop down and another inline element will start, but essentially they're next to each other on the page. As you can see, the block elements, they will appear one after the other underneath each other, and you can have inline elements inside each block, but they won't be next to each other like the inlines are. You can see they drop underneath each other. I suppose this type of stuff becomes important when you're using dividers and stuff, because you need to understand why it's, you know, not next to each other or why it's falling down. That kind of helps you to decide how to style this thing. This is all to do with the box model, and your padding and borders and margins will affect how the content is appearing. And when I said when it gets to the end of its line, that's when it gets to the end of its content area. That's when things start dropping underneath each other. Okay, so inline is next to each other, and block is one underneath the next one. Okay, and obviously you can have lots of inline elements inside.